Welcome to another episode of Love Notes.
All nurses to the nurses station.
This is Ketra Long, a nurse and a comedian.
You think you could bring your brother the clear machine home? You know, the reviver.
And I'm talking to my funny friends about medical mishaps.
Clear!
You are listening to Love Notes.
Hey, y'all, we got writer, producer, actress, comedian, Ketra Long in the building.
Hey, what up?
Hey, thank you for coming, girl.
Of course. Of course.
First, tell me how you became a comedian. The journey, like, what made you be like, yeah.
Fucking LA. LA. I mean, I came out here, of course. I was always a class clown, you know. I love Martin. The greats, Jamie Foxx, all those people that we grew up watching. Mm-hmm. And I never knew that stand-up was actually a job. You know, I knew they were being funny in their sitcoms, but I never knew, like, the art form of stand-up. But I do remember the first joke I remember. It was Dave Chappelle. And it was his joke about the word nigger and how they decided. If you watch them on Def Jam, that was the very first joke that I put to memory and can recite it word for word. Like, that was like the ultimate joke. Anyway, moved to LA. I mean, I was always determined to get the fuck out of Alabama. Came to LA.
Accent ain't went nowhere.
I mean, what do you want? Ooh, I'm coming in hot. Yeah, so when I came, you know, I was acting ready to take this thing by storm. I actually went to a party and met this very important publicist. And she was like, oh, what else do you do? I mean, I was like, I guess I can sing, I can dance and stuff. And she was like, okay. Yeah, because this is LA. You're going to need to do a lot of things more than just one. And I was like, psh, fuck you. I'm great. I'm amazing. I'm about to act. I'm about to win an Oscar tomorrow. Anyway, at the end of the night, she was like, you're a comedian. Get your ass on stage. And I was like, what? Do what? How do you do that? That went by. Me and my friends were after that, my friends were there as well. That went by. Kept in contact with her randomly. And she kept telling my friends, like, hey, make sure she get on stage. Make sure she get on stage. And I was like, whatever. Randomly, I was looking on Craigslist for jobs and the arts and entertainment section. I don't know if y'all remember this, but you know Crazy Cindy?
I know her.
Crazy
I her.
Cindy?
Well, did she have advertisements then?
On fucking Craigslist.
No.
Yes, she did. On Craigslist. And she was like, hey, are you funny? I was like, why, yes, I am. Do you have a lot of friends? Why, yes, I do. Can you bring people to make them laugh? I was like, why, yes, I can. And then, I got on stage, killed it in front of 35 to 40 of my friends. Okay.
You had 40 friends in LA at that time?
Yeah, at that time. I have no friends now. No. Yeah, killed it, of course. Brought the whole house down. And, you know, I was like, this is for me. Of course, I'm about to do this. I did like 2 more bringer shows, killed it, brought all my friends out. Did like 30, 40 more shows after that, bombed. And I was like, I gotta get good at this shit.
Was that all your friends in the audience every time?
No. No, once you stop bringing your friends, that's when you realize
that's when the test be like,
you ain't that cute, bitch.
Yeah,
relax.
Like, write some jokes.
Write some jokes. Because what it is your friends know your personality. You know, the idea of what we do, first and foremost, is selling yourself to people. A lot of people don't realize that. Like, like they see you and they, like, people might see me and be like, oh, she's cute, like, whatever. And they hope I'm funny. But next step is, I gotta damn be funny now. So, I mean, and I'm not one to back down for a challenge. I wanted to figure out why and how to put the pieces together and actually how to make people laugh. You know, I got stuff in the beginning. People were presenting me with opportunities that I wasn't ready for. And then I wanted to learn the craft. And so, that was it.
And how did you learn the craft?
Went to some open mics. I failed at it.
Oh, you can't fail at open mics.
No. I failed at it. I started failing at it on stage after I stopped bringing my friends.
Okay.
That laughing got a little bit quieter. Those rooms got a little bit more silent. And so I knew a couple of people. Barry Brewer. Shout out to Barry Brewer. I love Barry.
From Chi-Town. That's where I'm from.
Chi-Town.
Represent.
Yeah.
Okay.
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 And then it was a couple of more people that I started going to the Ha Cafe. And Tony Baker, Tori Hart, like we were all like starting out doing stand up, and then they would have open mics. So somebody told me, I forgot who it was. They were like, yeah, this way you go to hone your skills and find out how to do stand up or whatever. And I would just watch the people. I mean, and I was still failing. That's when I learned like, oh, you gotta learn how to write a joke. Like how to actually punchline, set up punchline. You know, you gotta learn how to beat it out. And you know, especially watching Tony from like
Tony Baker?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I love him.
From like the beginning, you know, you just know. It's certain people you just know. And then you sit there and you watch them like, damn, why you gotta be so good?
But to see how much time he failed at it.
No, he was good.
No, he was good, but you know, the repetitions, the work we got to do to get good.
Yeah. Because you don't realize, like, okay, he was good. And that was just the bare minimums of what he had working from bare bones. Like, so let's just say we were at the same level, starting with nothing, and he was already good. So, even for me to even get good, I would have to do 3 times what he had to do. Just to be his regular, his basic self. You know what I mean? If that makes sense. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I feel you. You felt like because he was already killing it without all the work yet.
Yeah.
That you felt like you had to work 3 times as hard just to be what he was at basic.
Yeah. And of course, that's of course like when I saw anybody, you know, you want to bring them in because if you're around like mediocrity,
you're going to be mediocre.
Right. But if you're around somebody great, you always have something to aspire for.
Yeah. They pull you up.
Yeah. If you the best in your crew, then you ain't doing something right.
Yeah. I agree with that.
I never want to be the best.
I mean, yeah. Once you become the best, you need to find new people to hang out with.
Exactly.
So they can make you better, and then you could upscale and make somebody else better, and you know.
Exactly.
I had an experience where I took my niece to Chicago. She was maybe two, not even, maybe like a year and a half. And all the cousins, she didn't know how to walk yet, whatever the age is. She wasn't walking. That's the point.
Went to.
And so she wasn't around a lot of kids, right? So we go to Chicago for a week, and you know I'm at home with all the family, all the cousins. So where all the kids running around, and she like crawling and trying to figure it out. By the time we left, she was up walking. And that's how people around you, if they doing it, you know, you be like, they gonna leave me.
Right.
You know, like I want some of these toys and some of these cookies and treats too.
It's scary. That's a scary. I mean,
it's innate though.
We know.
Yeah.
You know, like in comedy, just the group of people we came up around, like it scares you. You be like, shit, everybody about to leave me. It's like I gotta get good because they want to respect you, and especially being a female. Like when we hit those mics, like Amsterdam and all those places we used to hit, it was an all boys club, and they cheer each other on. And then when it was time for a girl, they go out in the back and talk and do everything. So you have to earn your respect. So not only are you trying to earn your respect, just earning the respect of your peers is one thing, but then it's earning the respect of the audience, the club owners, the promoters, the bookers. It's a whole process, and you always standing in front of just people who are good and who big each other up because they like, oh, I know this dude good, I'm gonna be around him, and they're like, ah, man, your last time you went so good out of the box, so you be embarrassed. It's embarrassing as fuck to fail.
You mean bombing?
Yes.
What was your worst bomb?
Oh shit.
I'm gonna tell you, man. I want to hear yours first. Mine is ridiculous.
What? Wait. No, look. Tell me yours first. Tell me yours.
So, okay, my worst bomb. I was finally at a level. I was like, oh, I'm funny because I had booked a show, a corporate gig. Right? I booked a corporate gig, and it was me. Anika Williams had booked me on the show. Sean Grant, Jesus Sepulveda. So it was the 4 of us on this show. I went on stage, and you know, like I wasn't good with crowd work yet, or I didn't know that when you do corporate gigs, You can't. That's not a comedy club. You can't go up there and be like, da-da. Joke one.
You was at the
Joke two.
You was at the corporate gig doing this.
This is my first corporate gig, Ketra. My first, and let me tell you, I bombed so bad.
Star Kiss Tutor?
I don't know. It was professional. It was like a professional thing, and it was like people at a like company. No, I didn't do crowd work at all. I just did straight jokes, and they was looking at me like, And then when I got off stage, Sean Grant was there, and I sat next to him because it was like a table, and it was like a dinner set up and everything with the comedian sat in like a nice space, like in an area together. And I was saying, the first thing I said when I sat down, he was like, I wish I could have just clicked my heels like Dorothy and been somewhere else. He was like, you should have said that on stage. And then because that was true. And so that was the first time that I was like, being in the room and being myself is funnier than trying to force comedy. Because the joke writing, you write the jokes. Okay, I got a joke. Oh, and people laugh, and I know they're gonna laugh here. I know that. But then it's like, but you gotta you funny normally, so like, why don't you be yourself? And literally the reaction I got when I sat down at that table, well, the reaction from the audience was nothing. They was like, bitch, bye.
Right.
And they was like, they wanted to laugh. They was just like, we trying.
Right.
And I sat down. I'll never forget this. Sean Grant turned to the right, like he turned away from me. He was like, I don't want none of that on me, like the bombing. And he's like, don't rub that off on me. And it was just like, it was one of those moments where I got paid, and I felt like I'm getting paid for real, like nice money. And I took it, and then, like, I think I talked to other comedian friends that I respected, and they was like, at corporate gigs, you got to go and you have to talk to people. They got the warming up. As a nurse, like when I go into somebody's room and give them a shot, I don't be like, hey, shot, bam. I be like, hey, I warm them up. Like, hey, you. And so that was my worst bomb till today. And I learned so much from that, because now I be, at least I talk and be like, sister, brother, hey, y'all. And then I bring it in, but that's me. Now I want to know yours. Now you got mine.
Yeah,
you got mine.
That's one of those things where, like, yeah, you kind of
But you don't learn unless you do that, unless you go through it. Nobody was gonna tell me ahead of time. Make sure you do some crowd work. Make sure you say what's up to sister and brother. Like, make sure you be interactive before you hit them with this 8 minutes that gonna kill.
Right.
And the 8 minutes didn't do nothing. The 8 minutes died.
You wasted your time and nails. It's like, okay, I got pamphlets in the back. And,
if you sit at a table and none of the comedians look at you and want to talk to you, that's when you know you bombed.
Yeah.
And if somebody really real with you, and be like, look, don't get none of that on. Don't even look at me. Can you sit at another table?
No,
like,
that's why. That's the worst part about comedy is your peers. It's like, okay, so my worst bomb story was, all right, so, I mean, I used to be in the mix. I used to be in LA Thick. So I met Neo, the singer. You know Neo, the singer? I had met him at like a Grammy party, and I don't know. I think I'm very charismatic or what have you, and people just naturally are drawn to me, and I'm never trying to be funny. That's just the way I relate to people. And my friend's like, she's a comedian. He's like, oh, you're a comedian? And then I was like, yeah. And he's like, okay, I'm gonna come to your next show. When is your next show? I was like, tomorrow. He's like, okay, I'm gonna come. I ain't think he was gonna come. Why my next show was at the J Spot?
Oh no, I never did well at that.
My show was at the J Spot. So Neo, his manager, his security, we walk in the J Spot. I'm deep. First of all, at this point, I'm maybe 7 months into comedy. Okay,
shut up.
Baby. We walk in. I'm like, oh, about to do this. They ain't gonna see this coming. I forgot who it was. I know Jackie Fabulous was there, and I think she had just ate it too. But this the J Spot, okay? So then she get off stage. I'm whispering in her ear, right? Now, let me tell you what a fucking rookie I am, okay? I'm like whispering in her ear, yeah, you got to finesse them, and this is what you got to do to get them. This is Jackie Fabulous. I mean, I'm talking America's Got Talent right now, Jackie Fabulous, and I'm telling her what she got to do to get the crowd, right? 6-7 months in. Whoever, I don't maybe it was Derek Ellis. I don't know. Or it was maybe somebody younger. I forgot who it was. But whoever it was, they introduced me. They was like, yeah, come to the stage. This next young lady, she got to be funny. She got her whole team here. They in the VIP area. Give it up for Ketra Long. So I get on stage. I'm like, yeah. So it's Ketra. Hit my first joke. Second joke. Okay. Third joke. Mind you, now his management team in the back eating wings with the champagne. I'm like, okay. So, wait. At this point, I was like, hit him with your closer. Hit him with your closer. This for real. They can't deny that. That's what gets you laugh. Hit him with the closer. Quita, this dude put his fucking foot on the stage and was like, damn, baby, you fine, but you ain't funny. Okay, well, give me the light. Where is the light? Where is the light? Is that not the word?
You looking for the light and it ain't there.
Here's the thing in LA. People are like, oh, I got booed at this. Yo, I rather get booed. People don't even understand what it's like to not get nothing.
Yeah.
And still have to do your time. To still have to do your time. Like, those boos that Apollo mean get off stage. At least you're like, okay, they don't like me, get off stage. But when you sit down suffering through that shit,
and you get nothing.
He put his foot on the stage. He was a thug too. He was like,
yeah, that's the J spot.
He was like, damn, baby, you fine, but you ain't funny. I was like, okay, I see how y'all gonna be. And then I told that joke, and then I was like, that was my best joke.
Did you get a laugh off of that?
No. Oh, when I said that was
my best joke?
Yeah. Wait, this is the worst reaction I got. This how you know. This how I used to know how bad I used to be at comedy. When I used to do black rooms, no matter where I went, it was always one old lady in the back. I like her.
That be the keep going, baby. Like, you good. Like, you was funny, honey. That lady, the one that's just like, I gotta make sure she believes in herself.
And that's how I knew I was horrible. Whenever somebody hollered out, I like her. Because that let everybody else know I don't like her ass. I don't. This bitch is not funny. Get her off the stage. I was so embarrassed every time that happened to me. I wanted to put Memphis Will. I think he took us to a show in Inglewood, Compton. It was somewhere deep. And it was like 40 people maybe in this room. We got paid too. And I bombed. And yeah, true to form, it was an old bitch in the back like, you did good, baby. I was like, God damn it. Shoot me. Just let me go outside and die peacefully in a gang.
But those moments make it a lot better.
Yeah, like, I mean, now I can talk about it because I know how to get a laugh now, like anywhere. And I know how to feel comfortable. Like, I think years after that, I remember I was doing like a show in front of David Arnold. It was like a showcase or something. And he was like, you're very comfortable in silence. And at first I was like, fuck that mean though. But then I thought about it. Yeah, if you, cause like sometimes if you ever seen the worst comedian, like you like, I don't understand this. I just don't understand why he's successful. Mm-hmm. It's cause they're comfortable
and confidence.
Yes, and that's like 75% of it. Mm-hmm. No lie. Like if you stand on stage, if something is not even funny, but you stand in it, like you believe in it, you can sell at least 10 to 15% on it. Mm-hmm. And if you make one person laugh, I mean, it's catchy, it's contagious. Like if you make something, and then there's somebody go, mm-hmm. Like eventually, like, and I was like, yeah, I am comfortable in silence. Mm-hmm. So it's when I learned to sit in it and think about what I was saying a little bit more. I got a little bit more comfortable on stage. And I didn't necessarily concentrate on funny. I just concentrated on being, on not being funny, but just standing there and being convicted in who I was mm-hmm. and am.
I know that when I met you, you were funny to me at the spot, which you don't remember that. But I also the comedy that I saw from you when you were personal about like your the breast cancer and the I can't remember, you call it the titty cancer or something like that. And I was just like, the fact that you can make, because my background's pediatric oncology. So it was like me being a nurse and knowing like how sick people are when they have cancer, when they go through chemo, when they wait for a transplant. Like, and I know that that's hard as hell. But to see like you make it funny, then I was like, dang, she got something. You know, like, and I really felt like, you know, like you was different than other comedians. So there is no way to make that funny, and you made it funny.
Yeah, somebody else recently told me that. No, you know, when I got, the funny thing about it is, so my grandmother, died of breast cancer like 6 or 7 years ago. And she was the first person I ever known had died of breast cancer. And the closest person to me ever, like, me and my grandma was best friends. Anyway, I think it was like 8th grade, I learned how to give myself self breast exams. Like, you gotta lift up and feel. Every time around my cycle, I would feel. My cousin came to visit me one day. Just, I'm in the shower and I felt this little knot. Like it was not like, you know, we get breast lumps typically, you know, from our cycle, but this was a little bit different. So I was like, I don't like this. And I told my cousin them, and they were like, oh, it's probably just because your cycle, like, da-da-da-da. Kind of ignored it, but it was a thought in the back of my mind. And a week later, I was like, man, I'm gonna go to the doctor. I didn't have health insurance at the time, but I remember I must have called at least 50 people, and I was like, hey, I need a mammogram. And all these people kept on saying, yo, we don't give mammograms to people under 40.
Yeah.
They just kept saying that to me, and I was like, well, why? It just didn't make sense to me. So I forgot where I went first, and I think I went to like a free clinic or something, the health center, and they were like, you're fine or whatever. And I think a friend of mine was like, you can call this guy. This is my gynecologist or whatever. He works on based on your income basis. And I was like, cool. He was like, he gave me a breast exam himself, and he was like, it's just your body changing, you know. When you're over 25, it's like your body. I'm just like, okay, cool, it's nothing. Still, in the back of my mind, I felt like, I was like, this is not going away. I kept feeling it. I was like, this is not going away. My cycle is gone. Like, this is weird. Went to like 3 or 4 doctors. Finally, I was trying to hustle my sister out of some money. Because she good. You know, my sister had been taking care of me for a long time. And I was trying to hustle her out. I was like, yeah, so I found this lump and I need to go to the doctor. Mind you, I had already gone to the doctor and they told me it was nothing. Yeah. And I just need to go and I need to see if you could give me some money. She was like, okay, I'll put it in your account on Monday. No problem. Monday comes, my sister called me like 5 o'clock in the morning because she's in Texas, I'm LA. She's like, yeah, what's the name of your doctor? And I was like, I got to look. Let me check. She was like, yeah, well, call me back when you get the name of your doctor because I'm putting it on my credit card. I was like, fuck.
So you had to go to another doctor.
I had to go to the real fucking doctor. I was like, damn. She was like, yeah, just pay for it on my credit card. Well, I wasn't going to the doctor. Anyway, she called me like the next week and she was just like, hey, did you go to the doctor? And I was like, no. And then I remember like 2 days later, I was like, fuck it, I'm gonna just go. She paid for the shit. I'm gonna just go. I found a doctor, this women's center in Santa Monica, and I went and I saw a radiologist actually, and she did the breast exam and all this stuff, and she did a ultrasound, and I saw what it was, the actual tumor, and she was like, oh yeah, it's a fibroid, which wasn't unfamiliar to me because I had a fibroid on my ovaries, but they were genetic because my mother had it. So, and they were very small. So I was like, okay, makes sense. She told me,
but you don't think that the fibroids down there would come up? Like, I would never think that it would be there.
Mind you, she said, I am 99% sure that that's what it is. That's what she told me. 99% sure. I was like, okay. In passing, like, it was very like a passive statement. She was like, oh, but if you want to get a biopsy, then you can. I didn't even think about it. But she told me. I left. And then, like, a week later, she said, I called my sister again, hustling again. I was like, hey, she said I get a biopsy. It's going to cost about $500. If you could just send that to me, because I got to, I got to pay them out a check. I got to pay this person out a check. You know what I'm saying? Just send me the money. Send me the money. She was like, Ketra, which is my full name. She was like, that's what people call me when they real serious. When they real serious. My family, rather. She was like, if you are going to the doctor, I'm going to write them checks. Anyway, she paid for the biopsy. I went in. Before that, wait, let me backtrack. She said it was some lapidation or something. I didn't even think about this word. But as I'm laying on the table, because at this point, a biopsy it's a, what do you call that kind of surgery?
Outpatient?
No, where they just cut you open right there. Non-invasive surgery. Okay. A non-invasive surgery. Really, because they do cut you open.
And they...
Yeah, you be open. And they put a needle in you or whatever. Mm-hmm. So, as I'm laying on the table, I'm like, well, no, right before they do it, I asked the nurse, she come in, she's talking to me, and I was like, hey, what's, she was like, lapidation. It's where the characters of the tumor, it's not smooth, it's lumpy or whatever. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, whoa, my mind started racing, because I'm like, well, I was like, what that mean? She was like, yeah, it's just different characteristics. And I remember, like, cancer, they were saying, like, oh, it has distinctive features or whatever, regular than a regular tumor. So as I'm laying on the table, this ran through my mind. Now, they have cut me, because all they do is they localize, and then they cut you. I hyperventilated on the table. I'm like hot, I'm sweating, I'm crying. I'm like, oh my God.
It was real at that moment.
Yeah, yeah. Because she just, the needle is about this long, and she's just like, oh, I spit. And, like doing that. Anyway, 2 days late, like, so I put it, I prayed about it. I told my sisters, or like whatever, and I tried to put it in the back of my mind. I think that was a Wednesday. On a Friday, they were like, oh, can you come in? And I was like, fuck. I knew.
Yeah.
I knew. I was like, fuck. Caught me. When I got to their office that Friday, they had like the waterfall. They had a waterfall in the office, but they never had the water running.
So they turned the water on.
They turned the fucking water on. I was like, this some bullshit. They didn't take me
to break bad news. They had to turn the water on.
Turn the waterfall on. So they had this hallway. It's like 2 offices and then it's a long hallway. The hallway, they was like, yeah, we gonna put you in a room. Now, they didn't put me in a room. They like took me all the way to the back to this room with fucking magazines. Like, how to deal with it. I was like, this fucked up. This fucked up. I was like, what I'm gonna do? What I'm gonna do? What I'm gonna just die? Like, how? I was like, ooh. I was like, ooh, I don't want my coffin to be red though. But I was just thinking, like, seriously, all this stuff was running through my mind. The doctor came in. She's like, how are you doing? Because she was Indian. And she's like, I was like, we gonna see in a minute. And then she's like, well, it is cancer. I was like, fuck me. I knew it. Bitch, you said it was not, and it is. I knew it. You said you was not in that. Yes, but it's okay. It's going to be okay. We are going to check the characteristics of it. You're going to be okay. I'm not going to be okay. Because, I mean, my grandmother, I just lost my grandmother to cancer. And this is like, I seen it take people out just like that. And I'm like, I'm so young. Like, what happened? She's like, they just, basically, the surgeon just so happened to be there. Shout out to my doctor. I love him. He just so happened to be there, and we went in the conference room and had my family on speakerphone. I was crying. They was crying. Everybody was crying. He's like, it's going to be okay. We're going to get you the best health care, and this is what you're going to do, everybody. These are the steps you need to take. And, just like that, I think in like 2 or 3 months, I had the lumpectomy, and I had radiation first. Then I had the lumpectomy. Then I had some more radiation, and cancer free.
Hey,
Thank God.
good. And you, when I hear your story, I'm just like, because again, I've been on the other side of like taking care of people with different types of cancers and needing transplants. But like the way that you connected to, like your personality of it, like the carefreeness and like the funny, like you find the small. Who would think about the waterfall? Like. Who would think about something that simple and that small that is funny but it's real? How long did it take for you to be able to talk about your experience on stage? Because I know a lot of times, like when I had stuff, like my father wound up losing 2 limbs, and it took me a good maybe 3 years before I was okay to talk about it. And that didn't happen to me. It was somebody that I was close to. But how long did it take for you to get to the point where like there's funny in my pain?
Yeah, at least 2 years. But I immediately knew, like all the time I got a journal, and I remember like all my fears and stuff, like everything. I remember journaling because my sister, she always like, just journal it. You gonna need this. But I remember thinking, because at the time I don't think I was fucking funny, but I was like, honestly, I think God want me to use this. I honestly do. I know He do, and I was like, this is going to be the springboard to make me funny. This is definitely something to talk about. But I didn't talk about it for like at least, a lot of people didn't know. And I think I felt, honestly, I had to be able to channel like my emotions about it. Because I was angry, I was upset, I was sad. I mean, it just hit, like news like that hit you. You think you're going to die, and then you're okay. And then you're like, how to process it. Like all your friends young, they running around free. And now I had this a titty that was smaller than what my titty already was small. I went from an A to a negative A. I had like a full A and a half an A cup. So it was just like, how do I channel this? How do I make it funny? Because I had to be able to laugh about it first. Like people always gonna sympathize and empathize with you, but I don't think, I would never wish it on anybody, but you can't know what that's like until you experience it. You know what I mean? So I had to be able to deal with all these emotions. And then I was like, yeah, I'm going to write about this shit. Because, what I didn't like about the process was the fact that everybody just kept saying, you so young, you so young, you so young. And it's like, when I was reading up on it, I saw like a 19-year-old girl had like, cancer in both breasts. Then I remember thinking about my blessings, and it was some guilt too. I had some guilt because I survived. And I'm just thinking like, and now when I talk about that, women, even men, somebody always comes up to me and it's like, yeah, I had breast cancer. Oh my God, thank you. Or my sister or my cousin or somebody died, and I'm just like, okay. I do have that responsibility to be a light in lieu of this time. You don't always have to be sad. It don't. This doesn't mean it has to be the end. If I can provide somebody with a little bit of laughter, then I feel at peace. I feel like my job is done, and I think that's why a little bit of why the Lord, like, He was like, you've been through a lot, but you might need something else. You might need a little bit of something else to just like shape you and mold your story. So I'm cool with that.
Oh, I'm happy to hear that.
Me too. Shit.
No,
Quita.
but girl, the fact that that whole connecting with other people, like, do you feel like looking at you, I feel like you are more powerful sharing that on stage in your funny way than before, like as a personal story. Nobody can do that. Nobody can be Ketra Long in that aspect. Do you think that particular part of your life has like catapulted your stand-up career?
I mean, it definitely did.
Yeah, because
it definitely did. I had a lot of time to sit down and think about that shit and where I wanted my life to be. I can honestly say I wasn't as serious about stand-up before cancer. I wasn't as serious, but writing in that journal, I was like, I got a story to tell and I got to tell it.
Well, good thing you did, because I believe in you, girl. I can't wait to see you blow up. Like,
Blow.
I'll be like, okay, Ketra, I see you.
Blow.
Get it.
I saw you hustling,
baby. Get it. I don't think I could have put it as, as good as you. Laughter is the best medicine. It's what I believe in, the fact that you brought laughter to pain is something commendable, girl.
Yeah, I mean, I feel blessed to be able to do that. You know.
And your ass, the way you talk about little titty, A cup, negative A cup.
Yeah, man, because it's the truth. This is like right now. This is Patty. Right now, somebody people always be like, you don't look like you have breast cancer. Touche, bitch. It's wait, I'm cursing on nurse's note. Somebody, mama gonna watch. Touche, touche. Yeah, I mean a lot of Patty. Cause I mean I was that too. That was a whole different thing. Getting my breast rebuild, I was faced with that choice over there because you know they tell you it's the options, don't even worry about it, you can get, and I chose not to get like have any reconstructive surgery done to my breast because shit, yeah, I don't know, it could have been, but hey, Victoria's Secret, hook it up, look alive. Victoria's Secret.
Don't nobody care. Once guys, they don't even care. Once you naked, they okay.
You know what?
Do they?
You know what? I realized that. I used to be remember Sanaa Lathan on Love and Basketball, how she was like. I remember my first time being intimate after. It was like he was like, don't get your goddamn hand down so I can get to that nipple.
Okay, they like to give me that one. They don't care. Well, y'all, thank you so much, Ketra, for coming.
Of course. Thank you for having me. This was live.
What's next?
Lord. You know, well, right now I'm on Laugh After Dog on Amazon Prime. Shit. I just did animation pilot. It just premiered at Just for Laughs.
Yes.
Yes.
Congratulations.
That was amazing. That was my whole career is a fluke. I promise. It's like always something that come out of nowhere or some tragedy, and then it's like, this one came out. Okay, thank you. A pilot for Comedy Central. Please, Lord, let it go. And I'm doing my own web series, Bearded. It's loosely based on me and my best friend. It's gonna be so funny. I shopped it for like 2 years, and like everybody loved it, but nobody didn't want to give me the money to put behind it. And I got this great team now, and we're gonna put it together. And this fall, we putting together 8 episodes, and I'm planning on dropping that by November, and it's gonna be hilarious.
All right, well, y'all keep a lookout for Ketra Long out here killing it.